Hello!
Hello!
This is a post-show special of the Jacky and Chris Geek Out, which just happened, the new edition which just happened just now.
Somehow we're doing a post-show now. I don't know why.
Right. Because they're always these things that we like don't have the time to squeeze into the actual show. And
even though we were just on the air for an hour and a half.
that's pretty much that.
Great planning.
Yeah. We did not. We even though we had more planned this time, we don't really have that much planned.
We could sit there and bullshit all night, really. I can say that because we're not on the air. See, we're not on the radio, so I can say
because
curse
this is a post-show special. I
can say curse words.
So basically, for the first 5 seconds, I'm gonna put on like this warning,
advisory,
warning, explicit language.
What did the old What did the old disclaimer say? Like, you have to decide whether it would be wise for you or your kids to watch this show.
That's right.
All right, so...
Are you all sitting comfortably, children?
Yes, then let's begin.
So, that's right. Yeah, as you hear, there's a bell here. And this post-show special...
You're ruining the magic of the show. They can't see the bell. They don't know what's making that noise. You know, I could just sneak my hand here and just do it.
Wait, is it Derek?
Derek. All right.
Is it Derek's bell?
So this is the post show, and eventually we're gonna get to the point of the post show.
Yeah, the post show special is a very short special. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do what we were planning to do on the good place topic, where because this guy hasn't watched the series finale yet,
and Jacky has.
I have, and I loved it, by the way. So what we're gonna do is he's gonna do a series of guesses, like some guesses.
I'm gonna guess
and
what was in the finale.
Yeah, and I'll give him
gonna
points.
Let me know how good or bad I was.
Yes.
And depending on how I do, maybe I'll go to the good place myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just go to the bad place.
Or you'll just be Sean.
Or
maybe you'll be Mindy Sinclair.
Listen, I'm a former journalist. I know I'm going to the bad place. I mean, really. Let's be honest.
Well, here's the thing, though. Since you watched the previous episode in this season, you know that there's a new system, and you can probably go into...
What I find interesting before we start doing the Good Place challenges, what I find interesting...
Is that what it's called?
Sure. Why not?
What is it?
Is that for a normal show, it would have ended last week.
Yes!
You would have had an episode where they end up in the Good Place.
Yes.
They realize the good place has problems, and then they kind of solve those problems.
Yes.
And then the last shot is
everybody being at peace.
Eleanor and Chidi.
Yes.
Sitting there watching the sunset. Everybody's happy.
Yes.
You know, a normal show, that would have been a pretty good finale.
Yes. It is a very good finale.
You know, because everybody's sort of at peace. I mean, honestly, one of my Facebook friends thought that was the finale. There were more than a few people on Facebook who thought that was the finale.
Yeah.
And then they were shocked that there was yet another episode
titled
a postscript.
Yeah, titled Wherever You're Ready.
Now maybe we should recap what happened in last week's episode, which is they end up in the good place.
I did not plan this to be like a full-on post-show special, but guess we're doing it.
Why not?
Let's do it.
They end up in the good place.
Yes, they finally got to the good place.
And they find that
there were flying puppies that talk. I do have to mention that.
Yeah, there were. That was pretty cool. They end up in the good place.
Yes.
And they find out that being in the good place
is not necessarily the best thing.
Is so good because everything is great. But because everything is great, it essentially melts your brain.
Yes.
Like, there's only so much amazing things that happen all the time. Like, if everything you ever wanted could happen.
Yes.
Like, eventually, after thousands of years, you would get really bored.
Get really bored.
And your brain would start to atrophy, which is great.
Which is I think a really good idea.
You know, sort of wasn't it the Talking Heads song where they say heaven is a place where nothing happens?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look that up later, kids. I'm pretty sure that's right. Ask
kids,
your friend Google. Ask your friend Google. This man saw David Byrne a few weeks ago, so he knows what I'm talking about. I did.
Burning down the house. Oh,
yeah, well, it wasn't that song, though.
That was so bad.
That was pretty bad.
Gonna erase the earth.
I'm already losing control of this show. I didn't even realize this post show was happening, and now I've already lost control. All right, so essentially, they end up in the good place as a brain melter. Mm-hmm. They meet people who have been there for thousands of years because for the last 500 years, nobody's gone to the good place.
Yes.
So not only is everything great in the good place, but they've also had absolutely no new interesting people to meet.
Yes.
So they've been essentially drinking milkshakes made out of stardust, which are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
But that's all they do. They kind of just sit around and
just slouch
sort of network in a party like forever. Mm-hmm. Like it's a party all the time.
And ever.
But which sounds really great. And Eddie Murphy was in favor of party all the time. But even Eddie Murphy would have questions about
Eddie Murphy.
Whether that's a good you can look that one up later too, kids. Mm-hmm. That might be a reference that goes over Jacky's head.
That totally goes over.
I'll play you the song later in the car. It'll be fine. So they figure out that the reason why the good place is not so good is because it just goes on forever.
Yes.
When there's no threat of death or even injury or anything like that, how do you cherish moments that are great when you don't know? You do it on Earth. You cherish moments that are great because you don't know when the next great moments are going to be.
Yes.
In heaven, all the moments are great.
Yes.
So you don't cherish them. When I was a kid, I'll do a little sidebar here. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, one of my favorite stories as a kid, and I forget it was a storybook from somewhere, was about two kids who made a Christmas wish, and their Christmas wish was that every day was Christmas. And it sounds great.
It sounds great.
You wake up every morning, you come downstairs, there's new gifts for you.
Yes. From
Santa or, Krampus or, whoever. Klaus or whoever, Saint Nick,
Santa Claus.
Satan. I don't know. It depends on what you believe in. Hanukkah Harry. Whoever.
Yes.
So, but the as the story goes on, every day they get new Christmas gifts.
Yes.
And then the next day they get more Christmas gifts. And pretty soon, their whole house is full of Christmas gifts. Mm-hmm. And they're sleeping on Christmas gifts.
There's nothing
they
special
wake
about
up. It. They wake up with dents in their faces because they fell asleep on Christmas gifts. Because they got a I forget what it was. This I don't know why I remember this, but they got, I think it was a typewriter, a toy typewriter was one of the gifts that they got every day. And they would fall asleep on the typewriter and they would wake up and they'd have dents in their faces because they slept on them because that was all they had.
Them. Yes.
So by the end of the story, their final Christmas wish is, look, we wish that not every day was Christmas.
Yes.
Because there can be too much of a good thing. It's kind of the very subtle lesson of that story.
Yes.
And that's kind of what The Good Place last week reminded me of.
And that's a really good thing to get there too. And
yeah, I mean it definitely plays into a lot of the philosophy of the show.
Yeah.
That it was a good way to continue the philosophy of the show.
Which is a very, very essential and great part about this whole show. One of the main reasons.
I learned more about philosophy from watching The Good Place than I ever learned in college.
Yeah. Trolley problem.
As we say this, here we are at one of the premier public universities in the Northeast.
Public Ivy.
Anyway, but I didn't go to school here, so it's not a reflection of here.
It's not.
Anyway, so...
That's where we.
They figured out that in order to do that, they were going to essentially create a door.
Yes.
And the door, I mean, it's a weird idea that a door where you can leave the good place. Mm-hmm. And to me, it almost seems like a suicide door.
Yes.
Essentially, that's kind of what it is. When you're sick of everything being great, you go through the door, and who knows what happens next?
Yeah.
They don't really say.
Yeah.
Is it a suicide door? Is it reincarnation? They don't really say in last week's episode.
Yes.
They kind of leave that into a mystery.
Yes.
And they kind of show that the idea that it isn't going to last forever, or it doesn't have to last forever.
Yeah.
It reinvigorates the people who are there, and also gives the Soul Squad, who are the main characters of The Good Place.
Yes, better name than fam.
Better name than fam. Okay. Let's not. We already talked about Doctor Who for an hour and a half. Let's not do that again. Let's not get sidetracked.
Nope.
Anyway, so it gives the Soul Squad a reason to enjoy The Good Place.
Yes.
Because now they know that it's possible that they don't have to stay there forever.
Yes. So they don't have to be like painfully being in the perfection.
They're like, what I was gonna say was
what? Oh no.
And I was gonna say they're being painfully pleasured, which is not something you want to look up on Google. Do not ever look that up. But that's kind of what it is. It's sort of like everything. I think the interesting lesson that has come from this show is that after a while, everything can be torture.
Yes.
After a while, everything is the bad place.
Yeah.
Too much of anything. It's about balance.
Remember how Sean was talking about the fact that like he keeps like at first torturing people was great, and then torturing gets bored after like years and years.
Yeah, after
it's the
like
same thing.
Thousands of years, flattening people's penises just isn't as fun as it used to be.
This is a post-show special. This is not on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that word on the radio, like after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're basically rehearsing for next week's show. That's what
Anyway, that sort of is an 11.5-minute prologue to the point of this exercise.
Yes.
Which is, I have certain ideas about what should be the ending of The Good Place.
Yes.
And I have not yet seen it, and Jacky has.
Yes.
So I am going to make some educated guesses.
Hopefully, yes.
About what will happen. Now, I will say that you and I are both in that Facebook group that's called
The Good Place Shirt Posting.
Which is a fun place where people gather. There's thousands of people on there.
Post funny memes about the Good Place.
It can be a little annoying sometimes because all of last week everyone was posting about almond milk. And they thought, because a new study came out that showed that almond milk and the way it's produced is not very good for bees. And bees are very important for how all of our fruits and vegetables are grown. Yep. So
that's where it gets.
But the problem was,
everybody posted.
Hundreds of people in this group all thought they were going to be really clever and post this story / meme about almond milk. And then it led to a long discussion about how people need to stop posting about almond milk. So this is how the internet works.
Yes.
There's action that is annoying, and then there's also reaction that can be annoying.
That's correct.
So, but one of the posts that I randomly saw the other day was that, what was that? One of the other posts I saw randomly the other day was somebody said, "Oh, it should end that Michael turns out to have been evil all the time, and that the door to the door out of the good place was just going to lead them back to the bad place, and they were just going to get freaking tortured forever." Now, Jacky's giving me this look that here's a PSA. Everyone. Should you need money, you should definitely play poker with Jacky. Because Jacky has absolutely no poker face at all. I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm just putting that out there. But Jacky has absolutely no poker face. Like, he is unable to hide any of his thoughts or emotions, which is one of the things that I love and find endearing about it. I'm not going to lie. But in an exercise like this, it makes it hard. Because Jacky's going to basically tell me the whole plot of the episode without ever telling me the whole plot of the episode.
Yes.
So I am risking spoiling myself on what the plot of the finale of the Good Place
for this
is.
20-minute bad post-show special.
We're already 15 minutes into the show,
yes,
and we haven't really started what we were going to do from the beginning. All of that was prologue.
That's okay.
So, here are my guesses, and you probably saw some of them.
First of all, I can tell you what you said before.
On the shirt
did not happen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Wait, was that going to be your first guess?
Well, I was just going to recap what I had said previously. Whether
just
or not
make
I
that
was
your
correct.
first guess, and I'll say no.
But my first guesses were that the door out of the good place is basically reincarnation, which would very interestingly tie into one of the philosophies that they haven't really gotten to yet, which is your Taoist Buddhist philosophy of and Hinduism, where you live. You don't live just once, but you come back in a series of lives, and hopefully you do better through each life. And you eventually get to nirvana. Now, it could be that I was influenced by that. There was a very good book that I read not that long ago called Reincarnation Blues. And look it up. I didn't know I was going to talk about it, so I do not know what the author's name is. I will have, when Jacky posts this video, I will make sure that he posts the name of the author.
I really should have made this a Facebook Live. Now I think about it,
it's fine.
I really should have made this a Facebook Live.
Anyway, let's not talk about the tech. Anyway, Reincarnation Blues.
It's by Michael Poore.
Michael, what's his last name?
Poore.
Oh,
Poore.
Michael Poore. Poore.
Yep.
Very, very excellent book. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
If you really love sort of Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, Douglas Adams kind of stuff, I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
But the essential theory behind Reincarnation Blues is exactly what I'm talking about. Is you live multiple lives, and some lives are great, some lives are not. Hopefully you learn enough from each of them that eventually you reach a certain nirvana or enlightenment. And the character in the book, his main problem is that he is approaching the 1,000 lives. Apparently, you have to figure it out by your 1,000th life. And if you don't, then you're in deep shit.
Or you
I forget exactly what happens if you don't figure it out. I think you actually essentially become deleted from the universe.
Wow.
They essentially just crop you out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So because clearly after 1,000 lives, if you haven't, I guess the theory was, if you have not figured it out by that point, then you're never going to figure it out. So that might have influenced my thinking with this show, but now Jacky's telling me that's not a thing that happened. Am I right? Or not?
The simple answer is we don't know.
Okay, the simple answer is we don't know.
We don't know.
So that's
also the Michael turn evil thing. That's what I was going to say. Michael turn evil thing did not happen.
Right.
The door is not leading to the back. Not leading to the back.
Not leading directly to the
That's
back
not
place,
true either.
So what I figure the finale. This is really one of the theories that I had was that it will pick up thousands or millions of years later when they have been there for a long time, and they have to figure out, okay, now we've been here a long time. Chidi and Eleanor have been together for a long time.
Yes. Baramies later.
Now they have to figure out Baramies, many Baramies later.
Baramies later, yes.
Many.
Yeah.
But they now they've been there and they're starting to feel the brain mush, and they have to figure out, is it really time to say, let's go through the door and let's figure out what's next. That seems to be the most obvious way that this is going to go.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised that that's how it goes.
Yeah, except from the fact that I'll give you the fact that it's not let's in a sense. It's more of like he or she thinks it's around the good time to walk through the door.
And it's a question of, do they hold hands and walk through together?
No.
Do they? No, I'm saying of the options. I'm saying of the options.
Yes.
Do they hold hands and walk through together? Does one of them want to go and the other one doesn't want to go? You know, and obviously Eleanor and Chidi are the ones that are really the focus of this season.
Pretty much so, yes.
Because Chidi finally figures out the answer is Eleanor, and the answer is love.
Yes.
Which is a great message in this day and age.
Yes.
Especially as we enter 2020,
and
man. I'm not going to say anymore.
Yep.
You know, because I don't want the IRS to investigate all of my tax returns.
Wait.
So, I don't know.
This should have just been a Facebook Live that we don't keep forever.
That would have been great.
That would have been great. I'm sorry.
No, you're going to post it. It's going to be awesome. All right, so this is kind of like what we do on the air, except now we're doing it here.
We're just making this a 30-minute show. That's
we're just making this a 30-minute show. So, what was I saying? Oh, the message is love.
Yeah.
So clearly they're the focus. Now, of course, you know, you also have your Jason and your Janet, who are, you know, in love.
An interesting pair, to say the least.
I mean, you have somebody who knows everything, and you have somebody who knows nothing.
No. That's why they're the
so-
interesting pair. That's it.
So I suppose in a way they're complementary because, like, together they know half of everything. Like, it's definitely an opposites attract kind of situation.
Average.
And then, you know, what happens to Tahani? What happens to Michael? Is Michael now a human? Is he now the architect forever? Like, I don't know.
You just hit the jackpot.
So basically now, I would kill to see him as the 60-foot whatever demon. 500-foot. What was it? It was like a
Fire
500-foot fire squid demon or whatever. Like, I can only guess they only have so much money for CGI.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing.
I really wish
to
I
just
saw Fire
see,
Squid.
Yeah. So
yeah.
but I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Michael sort of goes the human way in that he's always been a fan of humanity.
Yes.
Like, this is essentially, even when he was the evil demon who was creating the bad place to look like a good place,
Yes.
he always still had a fascination with humanity.
Yes.
So that doesn't really surprise me very much.
Yeah.
But, you know, I suppose then, like, what happens to Janet? Is Janet human now too? Like,
No.
I'm just saying, like, so can she even walk through the door? Is that even an option for her? Like, does she have to watch Chidi walk through the door without her? And that relationship ends. You know, what is Tahani's motivation in all this? Like, because she doesn't really have. At this point, she doesn't really have another person to bounce off of. You know, in theory.
Yes.
In theory. I mean, unless suddenly she hooks up with Derek in the afterlife. Which is, you know, I mean, he's got a whole martini glass full of like marbles and
Derek
stuff.
Derek is with Mindy. We knew that part.
That's true, yeah. I know.
We knew that part.
That's true. That's a good question. Is what happens to Mindy?
Oh. Yeah, there's something.
Okay,
I'll give you this.
All right, give me a hint.
Something did happen to Mindy.
Okay, thanks.
In the finale.
Thanks. All right, something happens to Mindy. Okay, Jackie gets a point for that. So
for watching the show.
I mean, the good thing that I have seen is that, and I haven't really seen any spoilers, thank God. And I'm probably going to end up watching the show tomorrow.
Please do.
So that Jackie and I can have a long conversation about it.
Oh, yes.
But the good thing is that the people whose opinions I trust online, friends, you know, people on Twitter, whatever, I have not seen anybody say a bad thing about the finale yet.
Of course.
And one of the things that I've really respected about this show is that they decided that this will be the last season.
Yep.
The show is still popular enough.
Yes.
That they could have gone on for another 2 or 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But they recognize the fact that this cannot last forever.
Yes.
And that is
just like the show, just like The Good Place.
True. That's actually, you know, Jackie gets a point for that one. Because, again...
when I say just like the show, I was like, no, that's not what I meant.
No, but it keeps with the lesson of even something that is great should not last forever.
Yes.
It should have a finite lifespan. And, to go on a broader sense, this is what I really love about the peak TV that we have now.
Yeah.
That we are more often developing shows along the British model that let's have smaller numbers of episodes. Let us have 1 season or 2 seasons.
Yes.
And make them amazing.
Yes.
Rather than stretching a show out for infinity. Now, of course, the exception is Doctor Who. But Doctor Who, however, has a format that is so flexible. It is literally the best format in TV.
Yes.
Because you can go anywhere, do anything, replace the whole cast,
yes.
replace everybody.
Yes, and it's still the show.
And just do the show.
Yes.
So that's really the exception.
Yeah.
But a lot of the best shows on TV from Britain have been shows that have a very limited story to tell.
Fleabag, 2 series,
Fleabag
12 episodes.
Has 12 episodes.
Yeah.
People don't remember this, but the British version of The Office has 12
12
episodes and a Christmas special. That's it.
40 Towers was...
Whereas...
that was inspired by 40 Towers, which was 2
40
series,
Towers was
12
2
episodes.
series and 12 episodes.
Yep.
You know, even... You know, unlike the American Office, and I'm not saying that... Well, I guess I kind of am saying. The American Office was stretched out for,
9
like
seasons?
9 seasons.
9 seasons.
I mean, they even did 2 seasons after Michael Scott left, which, frankly, I haven't really seen. Because why? Why? Like, Michael Scott is the anchor of the show.
Yep.
Why would you do that? Now, mind you, that also means I never saw the episode with Catherine Tate. So I really should go back in my copious free time and go back and rewatch the last couple seasons just to see if I really missed anything. Unlikely, but you know, probably the best moments were behind it by that point. I hate to say it, but one of the things that I love about The Good Place is, and Michael Schur, I will respect him forever because he knew that this kind of show that is such a high concept show. I mean, this is the kind of show that is unique among network TV.
Yes.
And he recognized that a concept like this is not a concept that is going to go for 9 seasons.
No.
Even 13 episode seasons.
Like Parks and Rec was what, 9 seasons?
Yeah, but I mean, Parks and Rec is a broader sort of
7.
palette. Parks and Rec was a show that didn't rely on such a high concept. And one of the things that they used to do consistently in The Good Place is they would skip ahead now we're skipping ahead 200 years. We're going to basically cover 200 years in an episode.
Yes.
So, they would do these great ideas that just forwarded the narrative in a way that was way accelerated from a normal show. So the fact that they have apparently done it correctly is something that I will appreciate.
Yes.
I mean, there were people who, and I didn't really watch a lot of episodes of the show, but How I Met Your Mother is one of those shows where people felt like they invested a lot of time and energy into it, watching it over many, many seasons. And then the finale happened, and there were riots in the streets.
Yes.
Because of the way that show ended.
Yep.
Another good show, and I don't necessarily agree that this was a terrible ending, but another show like that is Lost. Like where they had a finale, and depending on your opinion of it, it may have tainted your entire perception of
the show,
the whole previous 5 or 6 seasons. Because if you didn't like it, then you're unlikely to watch previous episodes again. That's always the risk. Like, where are they showing reruns of Lost? Nowhere. Probably somewhere on some obscure channel somewhere. But I can't think of one place where in fact, I can't even think of a place where it's on streaming. I could be wrong about that.
Lost on streaming?
Jacky, of course, is my fact checker here. I don't know why. He likes to look things up. and I love him.
I just want to make sure that it keeps on what it is.
But it's the kind of show that once you see the ending,
it's actually on Hulu. Actually,
is it? Okay, so I was wrong. I retract that statement. But nobody ever talks about it being on Hulu. Like, oh my God, Friends is taken off of streaming for a few months.
Yep.
And people lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, The Office is
Yes.
taken off of streaming, the American Office.
Yes.
And people lose their minds.
Yep.
Like, they totally go crazy.
Crazy.
Like, but Lost is on Hulu. Nobody's ever like, oh, I'm going to go and check out and watch old episodes of Lost on Hulu tonight. Nobody ever says that. No one. There's probably somebody. But I don't know that I have any other guesses as to what's in the finale.
Okay. That's fine.
You know, those are my major ones, and I was right about some of them, which is good.
Yes.
Because I can kind of see from the episode last week and the philosophy behind the show, the shape of how the finale should be. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be surprises. I'm sure Jacky is dying to tell me what the surprises are. I'm very glad that he gets a point for showing 2 points for showing restraint.
Yes. Just like how you do that to me for like other shows.
Know, so that I don't, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping there are some things that I don't expect. I'm sure there will be.
Yes, I think so.
But it seems to be, judging by the commentary that I've seen online, to be a satisfying ending.
Yes. I believe it's for sure a satisfying ending.
So that's great to know that I will not feel like I invested 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And how many chapters?
52.
Like 52 chapters.
52 is this one, so 51 for you now.
Right. Well, I won't feel like I invested 51 chapters.
Mm-hmm. And even...
Which is 25 hours of my life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Based on a show that will be disappointing in the end.
Yeah.
Because now that we have seen the finale, and now that we know what the finale is, I'll be interested to see any interviews with Michael Schur about discussing whether they had the finale in mind when they started the show, whether it was something that evolved over the course of the show. Mm-hmm. It seems to me, based on an interview I read before the finale, that a lot of the ideas and concepts in the show
were from the get-go,
but a lot of them were also things that they learned along the way.
Makes sense.
Exploring the philosophy that they discuss in the episodes more in depth, that it helped them to shape the way that the show turned out.
Yeah.
So I'll be very interested to see whether or not they had this kind of ending in mind or not. Mm-hmm. It's a balance, because maybe you have this ending in mind, but if you're determined to do this ending and you don't keep in mind the 4 seasons that you have come before it, then, for instance, like, you know, when you cast actors in these roles from a script, but as you do a show, you learn more and more about the actors and what they're capable of doing and what they enjoy doing and what they're really good at doing.
Yes.
So that can really shape how a show evolves over time.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, what's her name who plays Tahani?
Jamila.
Wasn't really an actress.
This was her first acting role.
Show.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the creators, she was like a host and she had done other programs.
Yes.
But I'm sure when they cast her, they weren't exactly sure what her strengths were as an actress, what she was really good at doing, what worked for her, what didn't work for her, etc. So, but I'll be very interested to see if they had the ending in mind or not. If they kind of knew where it was going, or whether they discovered it along the way. And we've seen shows that have gone both ways in that way.
Yes.
You know, for instance, Lost.
We're back at this again.
Lost put in a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it was a mystery, even once you saw the finale. Because there was no way, I think some fans expected them to have a shopping list of here's why there's a polar bear, here's what the smoke monster is, here's where this and that and the other. And it was never going to be a shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
So, those, but again, it comes against what the fan expectations are and what the reality of it is.
Okay, do you want to listen to an interview that I just found online with Mike Schur?
Sure, yeah.
So basically, it's
Please give credit. Where's the interview?
Yes, I was gonna say the interview is on the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay, good.
And Mike Schur did an interview with them, and they basically ask about after the season finale and everything, the series finale actually.
Right.
And so the first question, of course, from the get-go, did the finale end up pretty much where you thought it would? Mike Schur's answer was, I don't know that I had any real idea where we were going to end things at the very beginning. It would have been extremely presumptuous for me to write a pilot to say, when this ends at 4 years from now, this will be a good idea.
Right.
We started talking about the ending in a meaningful way probably in season 3. In a very general way, we started imagining and where we were heading and extrapolating a bit. But I think by the time season 3 ended, we had a pretty good idea of what would happen. We went into season 4, and it didn't really deviate much from that idea. And they said, and the reporter was like, so you didn't really have a 4-season plan? He said, no, I had a 1-year plan, of course, with the great Michael's Gambit twist.
Right.
And then going to season 2, we had another 1-year plan, and then they're like 1 year ahead. And at the end of season 3, they had an idea of where
I did read that
was.
in a different interview as well.
Yep.
That at least they had the ending of each season in mind.
Yeah.
When they started that season.
Yes.
Which, frankly, is a lot better than a lot of shows do. I mean,
Yep.
I think I'm very glad that shows such as Lost and How I Met Your Mother and the sort of failure shows to offer satisfaction in the finales have served as a lesson to future showrunners that you really need to have your shit together in order to provide the sort of satisfaction that you're going to give to viewers once they're done watching the show.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to taint their entire experience of watching the show by having a shitty ending. And that's kind of the lesson there. Yeah. But also, there were very successful shows that did have a good arc, such as the prototype Babylon 5 was a show that went on for 5 years, had a 5-year plan, dropped a lot of hints very early on that did not pay off for seasons later. But it all joined together very well because J. Michael Straczynski had a plan.
Nice.
From the beginning. Now, mind you, that plan had to change a little bit when actors went in and out of the show. But he even had what he used to call trapdoors, where characters could exit the show, and the show would still go on and the narrative would still go on.
Nice.
So you kind of learn from good and bad options. Being in peak TV means that in order to stand out from the crowd, you have to really have a very well-planned, well-written show, because people only have so much time in their lives to watch them. I mean, even if you didn't sleep, even if somehow magically, like, a fairy came down and said, "What's your wish?" and you said, "My wish is to not sleep, so that I can watch all of peak TV." You still couldn't fit it all in a 24-hour, I almost said a 48-hour day. What planet am I on? A 24-hour day. You just wouldn't have time.
Yeah.
You would almost have to watch half of it on fast forward, like, to really get it.
Yeah.
So you have to have a really well-written show. Now, not to go back to the Doctor Who discussion that we just had on the air, but this is one of the things that I find frustrating about the last couple of years of Doctor Who, is that the show has not been as well written as other peak TV shows. So I feel that's why there's been some question about ratings. There's been some question about fans dropping away. It really doesn't have a lot to do with it. Let's face it. There are some assholes who hate having a female doctor. There are. I mean, because that's just the nature of people. Yeah. There's always, the extreme end of the curve, of the bell curve, and that's where the morons live. But I feel that a lot of the issues with the last couple of years of Doctor Who have been about quality. Mm-hmm. And if you can spend your time watching a really quality sci-fi show versus watching an episode of Doctor Who where, frankly, a lot of things just don't join together right.
Yes. And by the past
room
years, you're talking about...
I'm talking about Chris Chibnall mainly.
Okay.
But, there were some moments... before then, obviously, but especially in the ultra competitive environment of the last 4 or 5 years, you have to really have a show that either is very well written, which the Chibnall era is not, or that is very welcoming to new viewers. And honestly, that might be the biggest criticism of the last few years of the Chris Chibnall era, of the Stephen Moffat era. That people felt like they were late to the party when they watched an episode. Whereas the people who have been dedicated, like me, like Jacky, like many other people, but some of the more casual fans felt like they were late to the party.
I mean, I thought maybe Series 10 was like Moffat was trying to do a
Series 10
fairly welcoming.
Right. Series 10 was as much of a reboot as having Matt Smith as the Doctor or having Peter Capaldi there for the first season. Yeah. But Chris Chibnall, of course, in his infinite wisdom, decided to go completely the other way and made it only accessible to casual fans.
Yeah.
And
it's not that accessible to casual fans either.
Which number wise might make sense because there are more casual fans than your hardcore type fans.
Yes.
Like Jacky and I before the Robercon event last year attempted to rewatch Series 11, but it was very much about hate watching. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a guy who hate watches shows. But maybe hate is too strong, but it was about watching it to find where all the problems were.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Would you think that's fair? It wasn't necessarily hate. It was more like we actually kept a running tally of some of the recurring issues that were in the Series 11 of Doctor Who. And there were many. Anyway, to cycle back around to the good place. I'm sorry, I got again, as we said on the air, distracted by Doctor Who. That's gonna be on my tombstone, I think.
I was trying to write this, but I was
trying to write this thing, but suddenly I just decided that I wanted to watch a clip from Doctor Who from 1975.
And it's it was 1975.
I'd be lying if I said that hasn't happened.
No, it was Tom Baker for sure. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I'm still getting him on the classic Doctor Who. He's getting there.
We've only watched one serial.
We'll watch more. Yeah. But anyway, to cycle back around to the good place, the fact that the showrunners have started to learn that they really need to have everything together.
Yeah.
And they need to really think about how they're going to stick the landing. It has become a good lesson in the era of peak TV. And while I have not seen the finale of The Good Place yet, from what I have seen and read, this is definitely one of the examples of when they were able to stick the landing well and not taint your opinion of the whole rest of the show in retrospect by having a finale that sucks.
Yeah.
So that's a good lesson. And hopefully other showrunners will take that to heart.
Yeah, and I really want to see what Michael Shore does next.
And I was just going to say, I'm going to be intrigued to see what Michael Shore does next.
After this.
After this. Because there's going to be a lot of scrutiny as to what he will.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I were him, I would do a lot simpler show.
Yes.
I would do a show that's a little less high concept.
Yeah.
From what I read in an interview with him, he was approached by NBC, and NBC said,
"Just do a
pitch
show.
us any show,
yes,
and we will do it.
Yep,
because you are our guy." What are you doing down there?
Nothing.
What's going on? Look, the viewers are up here, and I'm over here. All right, I'm putting this over here.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
All
He's calling me out straight up. Okay.
So, I mean, the NBC basically said, "You did Parks and Rec. We loved it. You're our guy. We'll make whatever show you want to make."
Yeah.
And Michael Shore, in his infinite wisdom, and I mean
like
that
an
seriously, actual wisdom, unlike Chris Chibnall's infinite wisdom, which was more sarcastic. If you didn't catch that earlier.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Michael Shore said, "I'm not going to waste this opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up with the craziest, most amazing, wackiest show idea that I can come up with." And that was The Good Place. And that is why it is unlike any other network show.
Yeah.
It is the kind of show that would fit more comfortably, that you would think would fit more comfortably on a Hulu or an Amazon or Netflix or HBO or something like that. Yeah. But the fact that we had entire episodes on a national network, one of the traditional big three networks.
Yes.
Now there's four, obviously. But,
yeah.
Well, five if you count the CW, but who counts them? You know, they only play country and western. That's what CW stands for, right?
That's MTV.
No.
Oh,
sorry. Anyway, that's CMT.
Sorry, you were saying.
Anyway, the fact that on one of the major networks, you can have entire episodes where they debate Immanuel Kant
yes.
versus Socrates.
Yes.
I mean, I got nothing, but it was amazing.
Yeah,
and now everyone knows about the trolley problem.
That's right.
Which has been turned into a game by some very genius people at Cyanide and Happiness.
There you go.
And the game is called Trial by Trolley. They had a Kickstarter for it, and I bought it. And Jackie and I are going to play it, and someday we will tell you how that goes.
Soon.
But I'm super excited about it because it looks like the most evil game since what is it? What is that game that humanity? What is it?
Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. Yeah, what? It looks like the most evil game since Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
Because the whole purpose of the game is to decide along two tracks who lives and who dies.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty much.
That's some really dark shit to turn into a game. And I'm firmly convinced that although the trolley problem clearly existed before The Good Place.
Yes, for sure. Long time.
There is no way that they would have made a trolley problem board game without The Good Place.
That's true.
That's just a fact.
That was a very good episode.
It is now part of the pop culture of America.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is actually a pop culture thing that makes you give serious thought into issues of philosophy is amazing.
Yeah.
People, I can't imagine how many people saw things on The Good Place and decided to go and read Immanuel Kant or read some of the more modern philosophers.
I had a idea of read the this year sometime to read the What We Owe to Each Other, the book that they were talking about.
Yeah, that was a book that probably was out of print, frankly,
pretty much
before The Good Place happened. Yeah. And the guy who wrote that is now hopefully making some coin off.
See, now because you put my phone away, I can't tell you who the guy who wrote it is. There are reasons why I do.
Fact checking is fine. randomly surfing the internet while
I was searching.
while we're trying.
I was
to,
searching Mike Shore next show. That's what I searched.
Anyway, I know he was.
It's T.M. Scanlon.
I just like to.
Thomas Michael Tim Scanlon.
I like to give him the business.
American philosopher. He retired in 2016, but he was an Alpha Professor of Natural Religion, Moral Philosophy, and Civil Polity in Harvard University's Department of Philosophy. He taught since 1984, and he wrote the book.
Shout out to him. I mean,
T.M. Scanlon.
I hope he's enjoying his newfound niche of fame.
Here it is in the Wikipedia article. There's
like a whole giant paragraph about
in popular culture. Yeah, he was referenced multiple times in The Good Place, and it's very prominent.
I mean, I think maybe we're at the 50-minute mark now somehow. I think to wrap this all up, so that Jackie and I can go and have some sort of dinner together.
Yes.
Which we're going to do.
Yes.
Again, having not seen the finale, as mentioned before, I'm very happy that the ultimate message of The Good Place seems to be love.
Yes.
That love and kindness and understanding, and perhaps most importantly, although love I would say is most important, maybe second most importantly, that people can have a second chance.
Yes.
That people can even have a third and fourth chance sometimes, but that we are all capable of having that second chance.
Yes.
That even if you're dead and end up in hell,
yep, you can
there may be the chance
get to the good place to
scratch your way up and learn more about kindness and generosity and love
and
that can get you to the good place. And I mean, there's no better message than that in this era of
all the turmoil and
people being really shitty to each other. I mean, if we could sum up the current era of America and the world, I mean, that would be it. I mean, I don't think, and we can talk for another hour about the reasons behind all of that, but we won't.
The other thing,
we won't, because we're not a moral philosophy show or a current event show.
Wait, I thought this is called the Jacky and Chris Moral Philosophy Show.
There's a show that no one would watch online. No one's gonna watch this show. But certainly, Jacky and Chris Discuss Moral Philosophy is not a show that is going to be at all get any viewership. You would post it online, like you put it on YouTube, and after like a year, it would have like 4 views. Like one of them would be my mom, and one of them would be your mom, and that would be, maybe my wife would watch it if she was bored sometime. But that would be about it. That's
pretty much it. Oh, the other thing that I want to mention.
But I feel like just to kind of wrap it up for me anyway, I feel like that would be that's a good message to give.
Yeah.
And clearly that seems to be the message that is also in the finale, because if it's not, then they seriously screwed it up. So hopefully I will find that out soon.
Yeah.
And we will have a follow-up episode next week
yeah.
of Jacky and Chris Geek Out, where we discuss The Good Place.
The other thing that I just want to say that it's like there really is like not much to add, but the fact that I think the other thing about the message in this, especially these later seasons, is that cherish all the lovely moments that you're enjoying, because that they are not like because once you get to the point where you always want the good moments, but then you realize the fact that always having the good moments is not the way to go. You have the good, you cherish the good moments, you like them because of the reason that there's all the other misery and all the bad, less good or bad moments that you have,
or even not necessarily bad, but more like ordinary moments.
Ordinary moments.
We all live our lives most days, if we're lucky, with ordinary moments.
Yes.
Like I go to work, I do my job, Jacky goes to class, hopefully learns things. We're not sure. But but we live a lot of ordinary moments in our lives.
Yes.
And hopefully our lives are not a whole lot of bad moments, but bad stuff happens.
Yes.
and but good stuff also happens, and hopefully you live a life that is a balance of those two things. That hopefully there are a lot more good moments than bad moments.
Yeah.
Because if there are more bad moments than good moments, then you need all the love you can get.
That's
true.
true.
That's really the answer right there.
Yeah.
Now,
well, Eleanor is the answer too, but
Eleanor's the answer too. And Kristen Bell is awesome. I mean, they're all awesome.
Yes.
You know, let's face it.
I
They're all
mean,
really cool.
personally, though,
you know, one of the geniuses. I don't want to like dive back in, but one of the geniuses of Michael Schur was they cast this show so well.
It is
like there's not one actor in this show that you say this person is slacking. This person is lacking in what is needed for the character as it is presented.
Yeah, I mean, character wise, there's often like what's the best character, what's the like the least less good character, I guess. But all the cast were definitely
cast is,
they just fit
even
it.
the supporting cast.
Yeah,
you know, is really strong.
Yes,
that they get some really strong people in there to do some of the minor roles.
Yes,
that they really manage to shine and really make it happen.
Yeah. Personally, though, Darcy Carden was probably the one that I discovered that. Yeah, she just shines in the Janet role.
Yeah, she's great.
Awesome.
And
Kristen Bell's definitely fantastic. As you said, Ted Danson. Oh my.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson is Ted Danson.
Despite what you may have heard, I do not hate Ted Danson.
What?
Okay, I don't.
What is this about?
I don't. I'll explain that later.
Oh my!
In case my wife is watching, I want to again state that I do not hate Ted Danson. Okay, go on. In fact, I may love him more now than I ever did after this show.
Well, that's probably what it is, because I remember the fact that I knew him, but I never actually watched. He was in CSI. I remember correctly. He was in the CSI side. And then
I'm old enough that I saw a lot of episodes of Cheers.
Right.
Which
Cheers.
is where most people know him from.
That's right. And then I'm just like,
but also manager
William Jackson Harper,
William Jackson Harper is amazing.
He is amazing, and he has been cast in more and more shows. And I'm just gonna casually look it up while you talk a bit.
Now, I just wanna say that this man right here is my Chinese Chidi. In more ways than he would like to admit. I mean, that's really and I say that with all love and appreciation. But there are a lot of things that Jackie might learn from Chidi. I'm just saying about dealing with life and decision making, especially.
Oh wow!
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he's in.
So what else is he gonna be in? Or
he was. Well,
what else was he in?
Well, the thing that I remember like the most was that he was in this film called Midsummer.
Oh sure.
By Ari Aster.
Sure.
That was
last year. Right?
He was one of the characters in it, and he was one of the most. He was the main cast, one of the main cast. And he was, I mean, other than The Good Place, he was mostly in like one episode or two episodes in some of these. But I'm pretty sure I'll see him more in like future shows, I'm sure. And
I get the danger with being in a show this good is that you may become typecast.
Oh, he was in Dark Waters too. He was in the new Todd Haynes film with Mark Ruffalo.
So I hope that doesn't happen with any of these actors.
Yeah.
That now everyone thinks Manny Jacinto's a moron.
No.
Because he's not. He's just a very good actor.
Oh, here it is.
Play a moron.
Oh, see, in 2016, before he was like, getting the role Chidi, he considered quitting acting. Harper did not learn about the show's premise until he was after cast. And now he's booming, I guess. That's the way to put it.
Yeah, I mean...
for the right reason.
And, again, kudos to Michael Schur for writing
Oh, wait, why
did
did I not mention Jamila Jamil? She's great in her first acting role.
Great. I mean, she's great, too.
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of the character that... I don't want to say you love to hate her, but you kind of like... she's kind of the least relatable character of the main characters.
At least for us.
Yeah. I mean, if you're super rich and you know famous people... Maybe she's
good for you for watching The Good Place. First
of all, thanks for watching The Good Place in the back of your Rolls Royce.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
Thanks for Thanks for watching The Good Place as servants bring you all of the shrimp cocktail that you can possibly eat.
Shrimp cocktail. Now I really want to know how that is. So, and I can't know it until like... Cocktail? Yeah, I can't know it until like a year and a half from now.
Why? No, shrimp cocktail doesn't have alcohol in it. Shrimp.
What is shrimp cocktail?
I'll explain shrimp cocktail later. You do not have to be 21 to have shrimp cocktail. Shrimp cocktail is shrimp with a dipping sauce in it.
That's why. Okay. I see.
There you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
I should have shrimp cocktail sometime.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find somewhere in town tonight that has shrimp cocktail.
Probably not, but maybe.
There's got to be somewhere.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway, send your ideas for shrimp cocktail. Send your recipes. Now, when you post this, I want you to put like an email address down here. Send your recipes to this email address right here. Okay, whoever we're gonna put there. Maybe we'll put mine there.
I don't know.
Send shrimp cocktail recipes, or possibly Red Lobster coupons.
Oh my!
Like, I don't care. Just put them right. Just send it right here. And Jackie and I will enjoy them.
This post-show special is probably the best idea I've had for like a long time.
See, we can't ask for stuff on the radio.
Yeah, but, that's true.
Now, I mean, we're not on the radio.
This is probably
if people want to send shit to us, we can ask for it. It's amazing. This is the best.
This is. I think this is probably gonna be on either Facebook or YouTube, I want to say.
God.
So that's where this is gonna be.
Anyway, all right. So we've now done an hour of this. It's exactly an hour now, pretty much. Do we just want to wrap this thing up?
I think that's a good idea.
We have spent the last hour discussing the importance of sticking the landing. Now, we have no idea how we're going to stick the landing on this particular video.
No, I think the fact that
frankly, I knew this video was happening approximately 45 seconds before this video starts.
And that was because we had a blooper reel.
And that was only because we had a few false starts. Someone pulled me into this room and said, "Let's do an after show."
Yeah, post-show special. Yeah, guess who it is. So,
anyway, how are we gonna stick the landing in this thing?
Well, basically, after the Red Lobster thing, we're pretty much all flew out the window. But honestly, we will come to the solution as the ending as this. Both of us enjoyed The Good Place a lot. We did not expect a show to be like this, to be on TV for 4 years, and to have pretty much, I want to say, consistent quality for most of it, or almost all of it, actually, given that if you're going to compare this show to, like, other ones, this show really, like, retained the quality really, really well, I want to say. Even though, we'll talk about what next time. There are episodes that, like, I think lag a bit. Sure. But, honestly, this show is... I want to say can be for like the next 5 years, 10 years, the benchmark for network TV or network sitcom.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, here's the thing though. I don't think most sitcom would spin all the concepts like this like that. But if you want to put a benchmark of like what do we want, possibly the greatest kind of sitcom that we can do on network TV.
I think
hopefully a bit more budget than this, like just for her to see the fire squid. I want to see the fire squid.
I bet if you look online, I bet somebody's done fan art of the fire squid. We will look that up while we're enjoying our shrimp cocktail somewhere. But hopefully, I agree that I hope that it shows network TV that
you can
make a smart show for network TV and people will still watch it. That you don't have to seed that more intelligent viewership to the streaming services. Oh, holy lordy.
No, that's not it.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, somebody.
That is frightening. I think I would definitely crap my pants. So... I don't know where this
is why this show is
in the middle of... Anyway, all right, attention, back to the point. that hopefully, that it means that the networks do not have to cede this sort of intelligent storytelling to the streaming services or pay cable like HBO or Showtime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the lesson, but there's never going to be another show like this one.
No.
There's just not.
No.
I mean, if you try to do this show again, it's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work.
You don't. If you want to do a Goose show, most times you don't try to do the same show.
Although like in 20 years they'll do like a Good Place reboot. I'm sorry. I just ruined this whole last hour just by saying that. I just ruined the whole thing.
I thought when I said that whole speech just now about like what like Good Places like for me and like everything, I was like, yeah, this is gonna stick to the landing. And this guy is just like, oh, there's gonna be a reboot in 20 years. I'm like, oh shit, this is not gonna go great.
No, this is not good.
Holy motherfucking shitballs. That's not gonna go well.
I'm an evil man. I pretend to be nice. I have an evil core.
Just imagine that you just like pull up your face and be like, I'm actually Sean.
I'm a 500-foot demon. Yeah, that would shoot right through. We're in the basement, so that would shoot right up through the entire floor. All right, I just want to say one postscript.
Yes.
One thing that I would like to see in the finale, one more thing that I would like to see is, what the hell happened to those other people that were in the beginning of the season? Like the crazy, pseudo-Trump guy. Or, Chee's ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Or,
you get that. You get
like,
that.
I want to see what happened to him. Like,
You do.
the MAGA guy falls into a hole and you never see him again. Like, where did he go? I mean, I don't have any idea.
I will say this. You pretty much get the endings. They aren't so much of endings because, the endings of course focus on the main cast, the soul squad of what happens
but I just
to
wonder,
them.
it just seems like.
But they do have like basically a tip for everything of what's happening and what.
Okay,
you get that. You do get that.
Because that. If I had to make a criticism of this last season, that would be it.
Yeah.
Would be no, not necessarily that they added them. I mean, adding them was fine, but they just kind of like once the experiment was over, they just disappeared.
Yeah, that was. I
understand why. Yeah. But I just want to know what happens.
Yeah, there's little tidbits of what you get in the end. But that's
little tidbits. That's where we're going to end this right now. Now remember, send us something. Send us some coupons to Red Lobster so that I can expose Jackie to what a shrimp cocktail is. Or
I think I only got the fact that shrimp cocktail is about shrimp, but never got the fact that shrimp cocktail doesn't have alcohol in it. I think that was me. That was me. That was me with the Good Place.
I love this man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you so much.
All right.
This has been the post-show special for the Jack and Chris Geek Out. Almost in like. If we do another 22 minutes, basically an episode of The Good Place.
Long as the actual radio show.
I really thought this show is going to be like 6 minutes of like a little clip of like an online exclusive thing of us doing like the guest thing.
We are
like this.
We are incapable of making anything last 6 minutes.
But I guess that's what you get. But but there you go.
All right.
That's the
all right.
That's what you get.
We geeked out.
That's the go. All right.
Hopefully you watch this far if you're watching it. If you are, God love you.
What?
We appreciate you. Thank you.
God love you. That's not the message of the Good Place. That's what. Wait, no. We walk out the door. Let's walk out the door. All right.
You want to walk out the door? No.
Let's walk.
All right. Let's we'll just leave. Where are we going?
See you later.
Wait, the door leads to death. Death of the soul.